try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on. You were staring at the window, and I said, I wanna take you to the sea. And when I'm better, we'll do everything. I gotta stop making promises I can't keep. But if I was gone tomorrow, won't the waves crash on? Is it selfish that I'm happy as we pass the setting sun? Someday I'll be overcast, but you won't have to cry, 'cause we'll do the grieving while I'm by your side. I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on. And I'm so scared of getting used to this. All the vines that keep you tethered in your room. Well, someday both of us are leaving here, but for now I'll just bring this sea to you. Oh, will you meet me in the daylight like we did before? Then I felt you on my shoulder, and you weren't suffering anymore. You said, I'm sorry that you worried, but don't apologize. I told you to forget me, but you stayed by my side when I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, and when we're gone, everything goes on.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the SLE. Just had a banger matchup with Slim Odds and Infernal Wolves. And Dasa, we've got an even a bigger one. Upcoming Black Flag Sailors currently sitting at the top of the standings up against Eternal Blizzard, who I mean, honestly, I'm so excited to watch these two play. Have you got a favorite going into this one?
I think predicting a favorite this early already before seeing the draft or anything is gonna be really difficult. Like you said, last time we were here together, Sovanix, it was two teams that were both sort of very lower end towards the ladder. This time, it is two top teams. The
Yeah.
first, like you said, and the third spot heading into this, and I think this is gonna be really important as well for both of these teams to have a good showing tonight. Unfortunately, it is replay, so it's not, at least in my opinion, gonna be as exciting as it would be in live games. But I think nonetheless, like you said, it should be really fun to watch and really exciting games. And I think whenever you have a team that is on the top spot, Black Flag Sailors, like you said, number one at the moment, it's always gonna be a good watch.
Yeah, a super hype watch, and I think more importantly, there are some big matchups to look at here. I think for me, the matchup in the mid lane, the solo lanes actually. So Linus against God of Hacks and Denzer against Barack Ogama, two matchups where I think it might be the defining matchups of the series, because I think we all know Eternal Blizzard's bot lane is good. Loco and Shiki Loco is an SLE champion, a two-time SLE champion. Not many people host that title. You know, I am one of those. But anyway, right. We know that the Eternal Blizzard bot lane is strong, but what we don't know is how is Ogama going to do into Denzer, two mid laners that are really showing up this split, and similarly, two top laners showing up this split is Linus and Hack. So I'm super hyped to see those two matchups.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'm even more hyped to see the top lane, in all honesty, than the mid lane this one, just because I think top lane it's gonna be really interesting. I think it is two players who have very different play styles heading into this. I think Linus generally as a player is completely fine playing weak side, completely fine playing that tanker role. Last week, for example, we saw him lock in Ornn in both games up against the Wacky Rates and ended up winning both of those games as well, where, like you said, she a very strong ADC. I think, in my opinion, one of the best Ashe players SLE has to offer, in my opinion. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see whether it is gonna be again just Linus going for that weak side or going for another tank in the top lane and just let Shiki sort of play his game and play through that bot lane, or whether we are gonna see something a little bit more aggressive, perhaps the Aatrox towards that top lane, which we've seen already so much in this SLE split.
Yeah, Aatrox the build, the new item storage really benefit that champion a lot. But as you said, it is a replay, so I believe we are ready to just jump into draft or jump just straight into the action. I'll let Pepper just do his magic whilst we do that. And draft, yes, you said can't make a prediction unless you see the draft. Now, just talk to me about what you are seeing on your screen.
Oh, baby. So, Lennox, the first thing I'm seeing on my screen is a Samira on the side of Eternal
Yep.
Blizzard. And we talked so much about how good both of these bot laners are. And Samira is, I think, in my opinion, one of the hardest ADCs to pilot, because you have to be really specific with these windows that you go in. Samira is a very short range champion that has to be in people's faces to make herself useful. And if you jump in at the wrong time, while cooldowns are still up, you're just gonna get absolutely demolished, you're gonna get nuked down. So you need to wait until those cooldowns are down until you can jump in, and that requires really good decision making. So this Samira, I believe it is also first Samira we've seen this split, if I'm not completely mistaken. So this gets me hyped up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. But Samira against Alistar, not the easiest of tasks to handle. But I think one thing I need to point out with the Black Flag Sailors draft already is the substantial lack of damage that sits within their team composition. New patch now, so Karma isn't as strong as she was before. Ezreal Vex, whilst they can pump out some damage, up against a Nautilus Volibear Gragas, there's not enough tank killing utility here. For the comp for Black Flag Sailors, so I initially see that already as a problem for them, but I think I will just have to wait and see how the action unfolds.
Yeah, Ezreal as an AD carry, generally in that AD carry role, that is the person that's gonna be killing the tank, that has the highest DPS against those healthier members. Ezreal, not one of those. He is not great at dealing with this massive frontline champions. And you have a couple of those on the side of Eternal Blizzard. I would assume that this is gonna be Agragas top lane looking at their draft Volibear in the jungle. And I would sort of assume that Hax is gonna go for a more tankier Gragas in that top lane just to support the center, support the Ahri, because one thing they are not lacking on the side of Eternal Blizzard is damage. They've got a Samira, they've got a Volibear, that they definitely have. So I see this Ezreal struggling a little bit against the comp of Eternal Blizzard, because Ezreal as well does not like people being close to him. So if this Samira gets a jump on him, if this Ahri gets a jump on him, I think he's just gonna get one-shotted.
Yeah, no, I think so too. But I mean, I have to see. Like the reason why Samira is difficult to play here, like you correctly said, it is a high damage champion, but it's difficult to play here because you pop the ultimate, Alistair can just easily cancel you out, and then you know you're just gonna get blown up if Vex is able to get into the game. But speaking of Ahri, you mentioned the Ahri. Ahri into the Vex matchup is not that good for the Vex in my opinion. I just think Ahri has a lot more mobility, but usually Vex does well into champions with dashes because of the passive, but Ahri's dashes are only coming in at level 6. And so essentially it's an assassin that has no dashes until level 6, which Vex doesn't really utilize too much in the laning phase. So I think that's one thing that I will definitely have to look out for, because if the Vex can get going, then Black Flag Sailors do have enough damage. But if the Vex drops too many deaths in this game, then it's going to be tough. And I think based off draft, just off that, I just think Eternal Blizzard have my vote for this one.
I think I definitely agree with you. It's gonna be, I think, a tough ask for the side of Black Flag Sailors to get their comp going, because I think it relies on a lot of different factors going in their favor, and I think this is one of those situations where you're gonna need everything to go right, because like you said, if even one of those pieces falter, if the Vex doesn't have enough damage, if the Vi doesn't get going in the early game, if the Ezreal just doesn't pump out enough damage, enough poke, they're not gonna really have an answer to the side of Eternal Blizzard. And like you said, Vex not gonna be that useful up against the Ahri. That is why generally Vex is a great counter pick against champions like Katarina, for example. Katarina likes to jump around a lot, and Vex just says, presses his fear and just says no, and just fears you away. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this mid lane goes, because you mentioned Sovonix. These are two very, very good mid laners when it comes to the sort of SLE mid lane roster and that SLE mid lane pool that we have. So this is gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna play off of each other. But I think even with these picks, I'm still gonna have my eyes on this top lane, because this is gonna be really, really interesting, especially considering it's a Karma top lane for Linus, which is, I think, a first for him.
I hate it. I think, no offense to Linus, like as a player, his strengths are being weak side, and we saw on the Black Man during his Black Manta days, they adopted a playstyle where you just 4-man gank Linus, and obviously taking a look at the results, it just didn't work. So putting him on something like a Karma, I'm not a fan of. I prefer him on champions that stat check, like the Alawi, like the Kled. Something like the Karma, where a little bit more mechanics are required. Not saying he's mechanically weak or bad, but I just don't think it really emphasizes his strengths. So, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, even though Black Flag Sailors are first place, I actually do think Eternal Blizzard are the best team in the SNC.
I think, especially coming into this matchup, I don't really have a vote sort of one way or the other at the moment. I think after tonight, that is definitely going to change for me, depending on how these two teams are going to play. But for me, this mid lane is going to be really key, because if you look at the mid jungle duo on both of these sides, Ahri Volibear can pump out a lot of damage in the early game just because of the state that Volibear's in right now, right? The champion, very, very good at the moment. And I don't really see the side of Black Flag Sailors winning in that mid jungle duo if it ends up into that 2v2. So I would like to see the side of Eternal Blizzard play a little bit more aggressive in their sort of mid jungle and really try to get up in our Tempest face in this early game. But you can already see an early ward onto IFX is gonna spot him out, so they're gonna know exactly where this Volibear is going.
Yeah, they'll be able to see where he's pathing to, but I think against a team like EV, where you have a bot lane like this, like Shiki Loco, such a powerful bot lane. I can't emphasize that enough. Like just player wise, you can always assume the jungler is going to path towards that lane, and hopefully so. But Ezreal, Alistar, very difficult to gank.
Yeah, and especially looking at the wave state in the bot lane at the moment, the gank window really isn't there, just because they haven't managed to crash this wave quite yet. A little bit of a polarized headbutt combo there out of Moppo just to say, hey, I'm here, but not really going to amount much at the moment. But this crab should for sure go the way of Eternal Blizzard. I don't think there is any world where Nora Tempest should be allowed to walk in unless he gets a magical steal.
Yeah, you can see Power of the Volibear, or maybe IFX is just a god at jungling, but he's very far ahead of the clear. Already finishing his Krogs here, so we'll finish that clear at 3-11. Whereas the Vi still yet to finish blue buff. I think we'll finish it now, and Krogs yet to be done. So IFX a little bit ahead of the tempo on Noir Tempest.
Yeah, and you can just see this is the prior you get from the bot lane, right? I said that Nora Tempest, no issue, or IFX, no issues whatsoever on getting this crab before Nora Tempest does. IFX might look into the jungle of Nora Tempest, but is gonna try to walk into the mid lane instead. But you can see the danger pings on the map, so Denzer is gonna know that this is happening, is gonna play safe and good to see.
But from Loco onto Moppo. Support of Eternal Blizzard. Gotta watch out for this guy when he's playing Hook Champions. And really, Moppo gonna catch a first stray. Trade wasn't, benefiting, or like it didn't really get anything, but yeah, quite early game so far.
And I think that's one of the big things about this bot lane, as I might have to hold that thought.
Yeah, you might have to hold that thought. Just as I said, Loco on a Hook Champion is lethal at all points in the laning phase. And Shiki Oren is just going to get first blood. IFX with the patience hanging around in the bot lane for the longest time possible. Getting first blood for EB.
Yeah, and that seems a little bit confusing of a move to me, because you can see the ward for the side of Black Flag Sailors. It's been sitting there for a while, which means they do exactly where IFX was, and still they just walk into it. Pharaoh now gonna just try to 1v1 Loco a little bit here, but nothing's really gonna be happening here. Shiki just going back onto base, gonna expend this golden. Another thing I wanted to talk about, Shiki was the one who got that first blood, so rated Kirk already. That is huge for the side of Eternal Blizzard.
Yeah, and the worst part of this play is Loco with the confidence. For some reason, Pharaoh on the Ezra was terrified of Loco on the Nautilus, and off the back of that, didn't get the wave pushed in. So the wave in bot is awful right now for Black Flag Sailors. And just as I said, you can't give this bot lane an edge, because right now they already have it, and the wave is just good for them. So I'm quite terrified for the bot lane of Black Flag Sailors.
Yeah, and this is, like you said, going to be a sizable CS lead, I think, as well, for Shikyorin, because when you look at the bot wave, you said the Pharaoh didn't quite get pushed far enough in. Top lane sort of has been what we expected. It's going to be a little bit of an AFK fest. Neither laner really have any sort of pressure to kill each other. Hax always has the body slam to get himself on out. Linus can always shield himself out if he does need to. There is great setup on both sides in the top lane, so if the junglers want to make a visit, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because I think it's for sure certainly going to lead to a kill, especially on the side of Eternal Blizzard, because Karma not the tankiest champion in the world, despite that mantra W heal.
Yeah, well, I think in early game it's tanky enough to sustain yourself against a Gragas, but I mean, one thing for sure is IFX really paying attention to the spot lane here, and it could be another dive, as a Hook isn't going to quite land, as it scores a goal between the enemy bot lane, but yeah. You can see IFX, you can see what his intentions are. He's just hanging around the spot lane.
Yeah, and he's also going to help himself to a free Toad here as well. Going to try to steal away the Grump. The interesting thing is he gonna hit level 6 after this or not? Because if he does potentially dive onto the bot lane, I doubt he will, just because really no one else is level 6 either, and haven't really been paying attention to the XP of IFX. He is still gonna be level 5, but we could see a fight towards the bot lane.
Yeah, Hook gonna land. Loco gets pulverized to the enemy turret, and a rare overset from the veteran support of Eternal Blizzard means he will drop his life to kill to Pharaoh. And what looked like such a troublesome bot lane for Black Flag Sailors Kind of evens out here with that kill.
Yeah, it's just like you said, Locke was stepping up a little bit too far there, and it is only the Nautilus that falls. Pharaoh is gonna pick up the kill. Just a little bit more gold into the pocket of the Ezreal. Not something you wanna do into a
No.
scaling laner like Ezreal. A little bit of an oversight there, but this is kind of what I talked about in the top lane. Just too much resources on both sides, too much regen on both sides to really get anything to happen. But is a Chemtech Drake first up, so I doubt either team are really gonna have too high of a prio on this. And keep in mind earlier, Black Flag Sailors, 3 grubs already picked up, so if they get any sort of lead in this game, they're gonna take these towers pretty quick.
Yep, they will do indeed. But to be honest, they have kind of drafted a team composition that benefits a bit more off grouping up together. So, I mean, if they're able to win out fights and push turrets, then it'll be good. But I actually do think for both teams, the dragon priority is higher than the grubs.
Yeah, I think for sure, especially when you look at sort of the champions on the side of Black Flag Sailors, none of these champions really want to be on their own. The Karma and the Ezreal, especially, I think really need people around them to shine, and you can just see as well, Pharaoh needs to play so peaceful in this bot lane. Speaking of the dragon you mentioned earlier, Sovanix, the first one is going to go the way of Eternal Blizzard, as IFX should be able to finish this one up.
Yeah, first dragon will go into Internal Blizzard's hands, but as I said, not the most, or stat-wise, not the best dragon to be taken, but nonetheless, you'll be happy with that, and the next one will be Infernal, so I think getting their hands on 2, that would be a very happy result for them.
Yeah, but it does mean we won't be getting Infernal Soul. Mopo, they're actually going to invade here.
Yeah, they will invade. They are grabbing space for absolutely free, but you can see on the minimap that Denza is starting to make the move here. The Vex deciding not to go for the play because he's getting collapsed on by Barako Gama. The fear is going to come through, and looks like Eternal Blizzard might turn their attention to the Vex, but the charm isn't going to quite land from Barako Gama, so Denza will get away with his life, and nothing happens off the back end of that.
Yeah, just both teams scuffling a little bit. They're just taking a little bit of a fight, just to sort of eye each other out, just to see what they're made of. They're gonna like to no kills, and IFX now gonna be the one who gets invaded on. He first invades the bot side, and Noir Tempest not too happy with that, so he's gonna walk into the top side of IFX and just kind of try to get pressure for these grubs. And you talked a little bit, Sovanix, about these grubs, about how they might not be that big of a threat. But 6 grubs is a massive advantage.
Yeah, of course. Like, you know, Drake obviously for both teams in terms of composition will be prioritized. But if you can get your hands on 6 grubs, then definitely do so. Will give you an advantage in the push.
Yeah, and 6 grubs generally are pretty strong as well if you can get the push in. And so far this early game has been pretty peaceful. Eternal Blizzard with sort of a couple of plating leads on lanes, and as well as the First Blood has managed to gather themselves about a 600 gold lead. Another plate gonna be going over to Shaky Orion. You can just see Sheen and Tyr now onto Pharaoh, which means they are gonna send this Ezreal down over towards the mid lane instead to try to get that pressure and try to get that push into Barakogan.
Yep. Yeah, I think the main purpose of this is just to get this Ezreal out of the Samira Nautilus lane. It does seem to be quite troublesome for those two, but yeah, get them out as Linus throws damage onto God of Hacks. But you see, God of Hacks actually healthier than the Calm. I'm not sure how that has happened.
I think it's just the Gragas passive really doing work there, because Gragas as a champion is just, you kind of have infinite sustain as long as you have mana. And with the Catalyst in your inventory, whenever you sort of lose HP, you get mana back. So it is just an endless cycle for God of Hacks, and you can just see how low his mana pool is. So, or, well, at least somewhat low. So you can just see he's been using a lot of those spells just to heal up. Grasp as well. So if he gets any trades in, he's gonna get health off of that. But IFX with another sneak invade here.
Yeah, going for the invade, you can see bot priority was grabbed by Eternal Blizzard. So we'll go for more invades, and you can kind of see the general game plan coming out from EB and how much they play with bot prior. And one thing I'm surprised is Noir Tempest not opting to then play for topside, because God of Hack's kind of been isolated on his own, and you're never going to match the 3v3 anyway.
Yeah, and IFX are looking for a sneaky play towards the bot side of the map. Bargo Gamma as well trying to walk his way in, and I'm a little bit surprised that the side of Eternal Blizzard hasn't tried to push their lead even more. IFX now still sitting in the bush, might try to get a jump here.
Yeah, well, you might have to be a little bit more patient because Loco goes for the hook. The dredge line gonna find its target. And Shikioran gonna pop the ultimate. Dash reset is gonna come through. A double kill for the AD carry of Eternal Blizzard. And I was just about to say that wave looks so good for IFX to execute this gank, and he does it successfully.
And Yari collects massively there with the collector in his pockets as well. Gonna get just that extra bit of added gold on top. He picks up all the kills right there, exactly where you want your goal to go to. And I was just about to make that point as well. We've seen IFX play around this bot lane, but they haven't really forced too much or too heavily. You can just see 5,500 gold already in the pocket of Shiki, currently holding on to 1,700 of that. And I'm a little bit surprised that the side of Eternal Blizzard hasn't tried to play this bot side more heavily, because Shiki got the first blood, he got his collector very early on into the game, and I would like to see them force more exactly like this, because Shiki is really, really strong in these small skirmishes, and I think IFX, for me, could have done a better job of sort of abusing the lead they got down towards the bot side of the map. He's tried to invade a little bit, but he hasn't really, I think, tried to push any fights or try to sort of engage onto the enemies, and Moppo with us sneak invade towards the top side of the map.
Yeah, no, I think definitely agree. There's seems to be a lack of aggression coming up from Black Flag Sailors, but there's always been one of my criticisms of Linus and the teams he's been on is that they play the early game so inactively, and if they come up against a team like Eternal Blizzard, who they're gonna take the fight to you at any point in the game, and a support like Loco, who every second in the lane phase will try to look for hooks. It's a troublesome matchup for these guys.
Which we've already seen. God of Hacks under threat from 3 now, and this could be...
Yeah, God of Hacks just gonna do the Uno reverse card, solo killing Linus, who got the counter pick. I don't quite remember. But yes, a solo killing Linus, and you can see there, missed timing of the wave push, and his teammates arriving, meaning the dive goes south. For Black Flag Sailors, they will be able to get the Herald, but a solo kill as God of Hacks bombers his opponent.
And that is an absolute bomba clat out of Hacks right there, as he's just gonna completely demolish Linus. Never did Linus see the flash body slam coming, and Hacks just with great mechanics on the Gragas right there. Loco.
Oh, great hurt coming up from Loco. That's it, special move. He does get headbutted back to the turret. Forces a flash, so supports will trade that. But a teleport in from Denza, meaning that teleport gets used for nothing.
And I think this is a really scary situation for the side of Black Flag Sailors, because suddenly the top side that was very stable, that was very sort of AFK between the two, God of Hacks finds a solo kill, which means you essentially have 3 losing lanes right now. Granted, no kills in the mid lane, but look at the CS difference. It is 28 at the moment. No, 18. But yeah, 28 at the moment for Barack Obama.
Yeah, maths isn't for League of Legends gamers. It's fine, don't worry about it.
Man, it's like almost midnight.
Leave that to the Koreans. Leave it to the Koreans. It's fine.
I'm not Korean enough to do the maths in League of Legends.
Yeah. We're EUS. We just press buttons faster. Yeah, we don't even do that, do we?
I mean, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna play the card where I say I'm Asian too. Get wrecked.
You pulled out the Asian card.
Yeah. Malaysian import over here.
Ah, man. You should be playing at SKT. Hands.
Are you assuming I speak Korean just because I'm Asian?
Huh?
Oh.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, well. It kind of sounds like, yeah. I mean, if you want to say it, just say it. No, I'm joking. Anyway, Dexter, I kind of mentioned in the draft, if Black Flag Sailors don't get the ball rolling, this is pretty much almost an impossible game for them to play out, and they are not ahead. As Loco just going to do that special move. Hex flashes over the wall. Denza holding the flash up against 3 members. Going to survive just for now, but IFX with the Stormbringer, gonna slay his opponent, but now he might have to trade his life for this as Moppo and Noir Tempest is arriving. You can see no movement coming out from Pharaoh, so this Volibear will be tacking up a lot of damage for now. He might get taken down eventually. Pharaoh is just about to arrive. The Azrael didn't quite land. True Shot Barrage didn't find its target. God of Hacks has managed to teleport into the fight in time, and it doesn't look like Eternal Blizzard are going to drop this fight. They will win it despite this starting behind the enemy base, and somehow Black Flag Sailors, it's like their mini-maps were turned off, did not win this fight.
And Black Flag Sailors just not really playing together whatsoever. They look so disjointed on the Rift. IFX doing a fantastic job at the start of the fight to just live for so long. And look at the clutch heal as well. He's about to die here, but the heal just comes through in time, gets the jump in and buys an extra few valuable seconds. And God of Hacks with a great TP into the fight. The cask onto Pharaoh just to make sure they finish up the kill. The hook onto Noir Tempest. It's just overall the side of Eternal Blizzard firing on all cylinders at the moment. And this is a 5-on-0 Cheeky Orin now. The Samira is absolutely popping off this game.
I would not be surprised if we drop a pentakill. I'm not even kidding. But I have to be a bit critical towards Pharaoh there. That arcane shift, he kind of just did it like to the same pixel as he was standing in. That was rough. That was painful to watch. But I mean, I think he's played a lot of Hezro this split, and it was one of those small hiccups. But I think mistakes like that really make a difference, especially on a champion like that. And you could see that fight really turning around. It was crazy. It was behind tier 2 turret of Black Flag Sailors.
I mean, yeah, they kind of just got up in there and they just said they didn't care. And that's one of the strengths of the Volibear, right? Just having that Ohm Wrecker and being able to turn off the tower is really, really strong. Just the ability for you to do that. And you can just see how useful it was right there as well. IFX just making his way in, use the flash as well just to make sure the ultimate hit. And you can just see now the side of Eternal Blizzard so far ahead. 2 items on Shiki Orin, Infinity Edge and Collector. This Samira, if he's not kept in check in teamfights by the side of Black Flag Sailors, is going to be an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah, the Samira is going to be the main focus for Black Flag Sailors right now. Shiki Orin on his signature champion. 5-0. Infinity Edge buffed and completed in the inventory, and I love this from Eternal Blizzard. You can see that their macro understanding is second to none in the SLE, because they are giving one dragon, because this is Black Flag Sailor's only Drake of the game. They're giving this up just to get priority in mid and bot and taking control. Black Flag Sailors can't enter their own jungle right now, as it looks like a flank coming out from Eternal Blizzard is starting to go, as Baraka Gama now finding Moppo, but Moppo gonna do a great headbutt back onto Baraka Gama, and Vex is now going to go with the Shadow Surge that lands onto 3, but he's going to get completely one-shot. Oh yeah, Vex going to get the kill credit for that one. Baraka Gama not quite finding the second charm of that team fight, but the mid laner for BFS is already taken down, and you can see Eternal Blizzard, fantastic macro play from them.
And Black Flag Sailors are the ones who end up losing a member after all that. And Baraka Gama kind of just delivering Denzer to the rest of the team, gets a 4-man fear out of that on the Vex, but it is just not enough. There is no juice, there is no gold on the side of Black Flag Sailors, because if you look at the items, it is just a lead on pretty much every lane at the moment. Almost 6,000 gold lead for them as well. And like you said, great macro play out of Eternal Blizzard, because they tried to get the tier 2 tower in the mid lane as well. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't push harder for that, but giving up one Drake when you're sort of behind or ahead by 6,000 gold, it's not the end of the world, because Baron is going to be up and available as well now, and that is going to be the big objective, where if somehow Black Flag Sailors can find their way onto this, it'll stall the game so much more for them, but I doubt it's going to be happening just due to the massive gold lead on the side of Eternal Blizzard.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, and Eternal Blizzard, they're just so far ahead, and I think the scary thing is, you saw Denzer land such a beautiful combo on the Vex, Shadow Surge into the entire enemy team and into a 3-man fear. For him to just get one shot anyway and then lose the fight, so it's not a great omen for things to come.
Definitely not. And I look towards the top side of the
Oh,
Linus.
Linus gonna get caught, and how does it feel? A taste of your own medicine as the enemy team send 4 people in the top lane to gank you out, and IFX gonna see if he can chase for more, but surely this opens up a free Baron for Eternal Blizzard.
Yeah, just look on the map as well. God of Hacks pushing down towards the bot lane. Keep in mind TP is in stone, so if he does need to make his way towards the top side of the map for a fight, can do that very, very quickly. Denzer gonna be the one to actually respond to him, and no Baron start here for the side of Eternal Blizzard, and that's one of the issues with Samira as well. Samira is an AD carry, not one of the quickest Baron takers in the world, so they don't have a ton of damage for it.
Yep.
And not really anyone that tanky around since God of Hacks is toned down towards the bot side of the map, so they're just not gonna risk it, gonna chill instead as Loco almost hits that hook.
Yeah, like they're gonna miss out the hook, but I guess Black Flag Sailors will just watch him do it. They sort of just bought front row seats to that one and didn't really do much to punish that mistake. But you can see, that's what I mean about that. That's gonna be the story of the game. One team's been playing it, and the other team just a spectator.
Yeah, not a lot we've seen out of Black Flag Sailors, but pushing down towards the mid
Oh
lane.
my god, Pharaoh just gonna cast the True Shot Barrage in front of the entire enemy team, gets hit up with the charm, is able to survive for now, and the key thing is, Shikioran is down, Shadow Surge not gonna quite find its target, so the Vex can't go in, but they did get that shot down onto Shikioran, so Pharaoh, despite him initially getting caught out, benefits off that play.
And they might not be done yet.
Oh yeah, it might not be done because Loco's the next one on the target, but this fight is a bit of an overcut coming out from Black Flag Sailors. No, our Temper's gonna get a kill onto Loco, but it's a 4 versus 3 God of Hacks with a 2-man body slam, and it looks like Eternal Blizzard, they've managed to slip up on the key moment, and they are losing out on this team fight. IFX and God of Hacks are very tanky. No, our Tempest is gonna fall, but they drop down the turret. Denson now stepping forward. What the hell, that Vex does no damage, but he just about misses out on that last Q. God of Hacks will be able to survive. That is a very chonky Gragas and True Shot Barrage. Oh, great camera work, Pepper. Not going to kill anyone, but yeah, a very messy fight. And Black Flag Sailors, for the first time this game, actually play a team fight.
Yeah, the camera work is great. They're following the True Shot Barrage, but what isn't great is Eternal Blizzard right there, just dropping the ball a little bit, and Shiki with, I want to say, an overcommit onto the backline there, because you just saw him jump in and he was sort of all alone. After that, there was no one who followed up, and that's where you gotta be careful with the Samira, because like I said earlier, playing Samira is like dancing on a knife's edge. You go in too deep and you find yourself alone and you're just gonna get taken out. You are just gonna die, and look where the massive shutdown went. The shutdown went towards Pharaoh, as well as went towards the Ezreal. Manimune and SLE were both finished up now, and this Ezreal's gonna be a threat, but overall I think an unusual mistake out of Eternal Blizzard, because we don't really see them mess up that heavily that often. So the Dragon gonna be started up, and we'll see if they can collect this one.
Yeah, a mistake, but they are still ahead in this game, so it's not a fatal one, but Noir Tempest gonna find a catch onto Shikioran, but you are all alone, buddy, because Shikioran is still alive. He's heading up the back line, and Dancer's gonna be the first to fall. Here comes the resets. Keep your eyes on Barack Obama in the enemy back line, because Moppo is gonna be the focus for Shikioran and God of Hacks. Noir Tempest, you can see his positioning, trying to look for anything as Linus gonna land the QW, getting some health back as him and Pharaoh forced to flee, and Noir Tempest not gonna have the same luxury because he is gonna get jumped on by 3. IFX slaying and getting the kill credit on that one. Dragon Soul secured for Eternal Blizzard, and this game doesn't look very, very good for Black Flag Sailors.
And not only the soul, but they're now moving their way towards the Baron as well. TP, those are the mid lane. This should be free pickings for them, as IFX is gonna rage quit instead. He doesn't feel like he wants the Nasher, but now he turns around and comes straight down back. This man loves League of Legends so much he can't even stay out of the game for more than 2 seconds before wanting some more action. And Baron now 9,000 health, and this one is burning and burning on up, and no contest from the side of Black Flag Sailors, and a great team fight out of Eternal Blizzard, because you could see, you said it yourself, Sevenix, Noir Tempest finds the jump on Shikioran, looks around him, and it's just all alone, has to try to flash out, and there's just really no follow-up, and I feel like an overcommit out of Noir Tempest, and I gotta be a little bit judgmental of Black Flag Sailors, because I think overall this game, it has not been a great look out of them.
No, they've looked a little bit off the pace with each other, and it seems quite unnatural to say that, considering I think one of their best aspects is their team play. But in that situation, Noir Temp is finding the engage, and with Vi and Alistar, if you go in together, it can be lethal. You follow it with the Vex, you follow it with the Mantra Q, it can be lethal. But if you go in one by one, it'll turn out exactly how that fight did, where you just drop slowly as individuals.
Yeah, it's kind of what we saw in the earlier fight as well, if you remember 7x, when Denzer got the Shadow Surge onto 4. There was just really no follow-up again. And that seems like the story of this game. It's just one member going in, and everyone else, like you said it earlier yourself, kind of just spectating, kind of just looking and just seeing what's going to happen when this is League of Legends. The game is 5v5, the game is not 1v1v1. But you gotta be able to help out your team, and now the bot lane tier 2 falls, mid lane tier 2 fall, and top lane no towers left, and it's gonna be really hard for Black Flag Sailors now to get any space on the map because they've got no towers left outside of their base.
Yeah, no towers less, but nonetheless, Black Flag Sailors, they will hold on to the hope that Pharaoh is currently sitting on 3 items. So this Ezreal is not weak by any means, but he does need to be careful. If he gets caught by anything, he will drop, because the members of EB are just so fed right now.
Yeah, and that's the big that's why the shutdown went to Pharaoh as well. The big reason why he has those 3 items, because Shiki, when he died, gave his shutdown up to Pharaoh, and this Ezreal is gonna be key. But you can just see, even when he does hit the Q, which granted he didn't hit there, so you won't get to see it. But the Mystic Shot, when it does hit, I don't think it'll do that much damage as I say that it does. Okay, healthy chunk out of that's
Oh my
not
god!
bad.
Professional baseball player as IFX catching all these cues.
Oh
Moppo gonna finally find an engage onto Shikioran, but usually when you WQ a Samira, everyone kills her, but no, keep enjoy the show. As well, here we go. Noir Tempest will start to pull off the fight here,
Oh
but
my
Shikioran blocks up the Shadow Surge, so Denzer can't access those resets. Noir Tempest trying to queue away to safety. Brocco Gama has found a flag up to 3, and God of Hacks bombards the entire enemy team away from each other. Moppo is in no man's land. Linus has already been taken down. Denzer's getting hit up by IFX. He's dead on the enemy turret, and Baraka Gama gets the kill for that. Noir Tempest forced to clear the bot wave with no HP. And Eternal Blizzard, they dominate this game. I know we're in spectator mode, but Black Flag Sailors, you're supposed to play the game, and unfortunately Eternal Blizzard, they will break down the base of the enemy team. This is a first place matchup. Noir Tech is going to get taken down just for good measure, and the Nexus will be the focus. Game 1 will be going to the way of Eternal Blizzard.
And we should get Black Flag Sailors on the desk, because they don't seem to be interested in playing the game anyways. And it's they just seem to. There is no activity in the early game, and I gotta admit, because normally I don't like to call hands diff, but that last fight from Eternal Blizzard,
That
the
was insane.
Shiki Orin windwalling, the ultimate, then God of Fact is like, I'll one up you, absolutely slams everybody with his cask, and so well played out of the side of Eternal Blizzard.
Nah, hands diff there was just night and day, and I think that was the conversation between these two teams. You got one team who was good team play, one team is just better mechanically. And you saw that in that last fight coming out from Eternal Blizzard. And I'm gonna throw a bit of criticism here. Black Flag Sailors, they Moppo comboed up Shikioran under their turret. They didn't go in, then they backed off, and then they went in, and then they all died. Yeah, bit of a question mark for me, because that engage there was so strange, and it just felt so unlike Black Flag Sailors and what they've done this split this game. So yeah, but props to Eternal Blizzard, and I think everyone knows like this team plays so much flex queue together, and the benefit of that is, look at their team play, their mechanics, everything is of the top of their game for this roster. And yeah, Black Flag Sailors they just had nothing.
Yeah, and it's a really good look out of Eternal Blizzard, because even before they were ahead, even before they sort of got the massive lead, it just kind of looked like they were the better team out there. And I also gotta give it to Shiki Orin. We talked so
Oh
much
yeah, what a game.
about like both of the AD carries. Right? We talked about how stacked this bot lane is for both of these teams. But outside of that one mistake where he gave his shutdown away, I would argue it was a pretty perfect game
Yeah,
out of him. And outside of that major mistake, really no other mistakes that I can point out.
I agree, and I think one of the criticisms of Shiki is that he can sometimes just have those games where he just double-digit deaths, right? But you see when he's paired up with Loco here. Loco is a player who likes to go aggressive in lane. So does Shiki. They are complementing each other perfectly in the SLE, and I really like. It's still early doors. We're week 4, but honestly, Eternal Blizzard really looking like a big favorite for the SLE trophy.
Yeah, I think they've been looking, I mean, very strong so far in the split. And if you look at like last week as well, for example, Eternal Blizzard came off a 2-0 win against Infernal Wolves, whereas Black Flag Sailors went up against Wacky Race and only got the 1-1. So I think this Eternal Blizzard is gonna be the squad to beat at the moment. And Sovanix, you said they were the best team in SLE before that game. And I said I would have to wait. I'm done enough waiting. I've looked enough. I think I'm gonna have to hop on the same wagon with you. And I think they look unbeatable at the moment.
They really do. But yeah, for now we will throw it to a quick break as game 2 is looming. We'll have to see if Black Flag Sailors can bounce back. But yeah, don't go anywhere. Game 2 coming soon. Hello, BD people. I don't know what that means. Anyway, welcome back to the SLE. And dominant game one coming out from Eternal Blizzard. It was two opposite sides of the story. And Dasa, you were mentioning during the break how tired you were because it's midnight. I think you're tired because Black Flag Sailors bored you to death. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping this next game they can actually participate in. This isn't the first time I've seen this in the SLA. I remember watching Vitagen Pearl against Gucci Yin, where one team was doing everything, the other team was just watching everything, and I personally get a bit like, oh, why play like this when you're gonna lose anyway? So yeah, I hope this next game has a little bit more action from both sides.
Yeah, maybe the sailors might finally board themselves onto League of Legends and actually try to do something on the Rift. But I think it's the composition as well. When you look
Yeah,
at their champions, yeah, you've got an Israel, you've got a Karma, but there isn't a ton of damage coming out of them. And I think you're completely fine looking to play a scaling comp, right? I think there are teams that do that very well.
yeah,
But I think you also have to be able to have the champions for it. And I don't think Israel, I don't think Karma,
no,
I don't think they're the champions. There's no Asol. There's still Smolder, right? There's no sort of these hyper scaly champions on their side and in their draft. So I would love to see them sort of be more active, but I gotta admit, as much as we are downplaying Black Flag Sailors at the moment, Eternal Blizzard with one hell of a game. I
oh
think
yeah.
that was clean as hell from them. Especially that last fight was very impressive.
That last fight is one of those things you watch on Synapse's YouTube channel, for example. It was just clean. I'd love to hear them if anyone from EBE is like willing to post that on clips. The comms of that last fight, it would be so interesting to see because it was almost like every single individual just did what they were meant to do in that last fight. But anyway, Black Flag Sailors, yeah, it was a rough game, but you do have a game two to bounce back. So I think we can take a look at the draft over here. And I exactly like what Black Flag Sailors are doing differently. They have a little bit more agency in terms of fighting. They have ways to get in. They have a Thresh, a Poppy. I do think Thresh is a bit challenging here to execute, but one thing I will say is I'm seeing Blitzcrank for Eternal Blizzard, which means Loco is playing Blitzcrank, which means I think this is a 2-0.
Yeah, which means it's gonna be Hook City, baby. Yes, sir. Loco on. We already saw that first game one, right? And Nautilus hooks tend to be a little bit easier or harder to hit depending on who you ask, because it seems to change from game to game. Sometimes when you play him, you'll feel like it's the biggest hitbox in the world, and other times you'll feel like you're hooking only terrain and not champions. But this time around, no terrain gonna be for him to hook. Gonna be playing the Blitzcrank instead. And I'm seeing a Rise on the side of Black Flag Sailor. This is a champion that we have not yet seen in forever. It's been a while since Rise was in meta, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna pilot it in the mid lane. Gonna be the Ahri for the side of Eternal Blizzard once more, and I'm seeing a Nyla as well. So I think overall, the comp from Eternal Blizzard is very, very similar to that game one, and I love that, because if you already won one game, why change anything?
Yeah, why change anything indeed? And speaking of the Rise, the Blue Man has arrived to the SLE, and I think the main reason you picked this is into the Ahri. It's one of the best matchups for Rise. Ahri just like can't really get through the HP of the Rise. But one thing I would never do as Rise is pick Rise when the enemy team has a Jarvan. And they've also put a, I mean, he didn't see this, but they put a Gragas and a Blitzcrank on top of it. So this is a tricky game for Rise. Can't lie. I'm a big fan of Rise, and I'm kind of looking at this and being like, I don't really know what he's supposed to do here. But we'll have to wait and see because, as we all know, this is a replay, so we will be able to just go straight into it. I think one thing about both teams is the not both teams, but Black Flag Sailors, they prioritize this Ezreal a lot. But pairing up Ezreal and Thresh together is very strange. You have an AD carry who's a little bit more passive and defensive versus a playmaking support. So that was a bit of a contradictory bot lane pairing there.
And overall, Thresh generally used as a response with champions like Jinx, who've got no escapes of their own. That's why Thresh is so good, because you can throw the Lantern, Whereas Israel already has the ability to kite. He's got the arcane shift to get himself out of danger, which means the lantern tends to not be as useful. So I think it's gonna
Yep.
be interesting to see how this bot lane pairing goes. And I'm gonna say now, if Loco has his hooking shoes on, if he's put on the gloves, if his monitor is in the right selection, and if he hits these hooks, the bot lane of Black Flag Sailors is gonna be in trouble, I feel like, because Nyla can output a hella of damage in the early game, and any hooks that hits is gonna be, I think, a death sentence.
Yeah, Nyla's not a champion I know too much of, but I was playing a solo queue game earlier and I was kind of running it. And then the Nyla just 1v9'd and I was like, okay, I guess this champ is broken. So, yeah, you're right. If this EV bot lane goes exactly how that solo queue bot lane went, then this is pretty much as good as done. So, Pharaoh and Moppo definitely have to keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about how the Ezreal Thresh don't go well together, but granted, it is good just because Pharaoh can tank the hook, and then sort of because you can buffer your way out of Blitzcrank hook on Ezreal. So if he can time it right, you can just deny the engage, but it is a very, very slim window, and I'm not entirely sure if Pharaoh's got it in him, especially against someone like a local whose Blitzcrank is very good and tends to be a pretty good highlight for him. As you can already see the XP sharing coming to play here, as they are gonna hit 2 first, but gonna be no action at least for now towards the bot lane.
No action, despite level 2 being hit first. And you can see Pharaoh and Moppo understand the assignment here. They saw the enemy bot lane were hitting level 2. They backed off respectfully and waited for that level 2 before stepping up again.
Yeah, it is good showing from them just to play a little bit more passive this time on. Around looking at the jungle matchup as well, it is going to be the Jarvan versus the Viego. Jarvan a lot easier time of making plays in the early game. And I'm expecting, especially after level 6, for IFX to put a little bit more pressure towards this mid lane. Because you talked about it earlier, Ryze not an easy champion to pilot against things like a Jarvan, because if you don't have flash, there is no way for you to escape the Cataclysm unless you can step out of the charm in the Cataclysm and try to get your ultimate out, but Denzer already
gosh.
struggling with the mana pool.
Yeah, honestly, before this trade, Denzer was like almost out of mana and Barakugan was full HP. Just for anyone who doesn't understand mid lane, that usually means one guy's just missed all his spells. Or just not used his spells on the correct things. As you can see here, a tricky situation for Denzer as he's out of mana 3 minutes into the laning phase. Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll just base TP and it'll all be fine. But, oh, I'm gonna have to keep talking because Loco gonna land a hook. He chooses Moppo as his target, as Moppo did not try to flash away from that one. No, our Tempest is gonna try and defend his bot lane, but it will be too late as IFX already getting himself first blood. Did use the flash, it doesn't have the flash to get away, but the flag and drag does come up in time. And another first blood in the bot lane for EB.
And that's the Blitzcrank Loco, baby. First hook of the game, first hit of the game. Currently 100% accuracy. And Moppo just not really sidestepping, not really flashing away, kind of just not expecting the hook to go his way and catches him off guard. There as well, so a great play out of IFX to be there, to be able to notice that, hey, we've got a Blitzcrank in the spot lane, we might as well use it in the early game. Godofax and Linus just kind of beating each other, nothing gonna happen towards the top side of the map. But the vision for IFX and Eternal Blizzard, you can just see the bot lane river littered with wards at the moment, and they're all red.
Yeah, yeah. The vision control coming out from EB is so good. But yeah, I'm gonna question mark Black Flag Sailors here. This happened in game 1. Usually, the point of a series is you kind of read your opponents. It doesn't seem like they've managed to do that because it worked in game 2. The exact same play.
Yeah, IFX really just does seem to be on top of his game, and really the ability to read this Black Flag Sailors team just seems to be so good out of him, even into this game too. You can see a little bit of a grub start here coming up from Nora Tempest. IFX not even gonna bother to walk over. They're gonna head towards the bot side of the map instead. You can see where sort of his priorities lie. It is the dragon instead of those grubs, which I think, looking at the comp of Black Flag Sailors and how low range their entire team is outside of Pharaoh, completely understandable.
Yeah, definitely so. But just seeing that wave in the top lane, not looking too great for Linus's kind of hacks on the Gragas. Pepper was while we were on break was saying like, Jesus Christ, this guy plays like 500 games of Gragas, and again going back to what Black Flag Sailors, I guess lack of prep or something, but. I think I agree. Gragas does seem to be one of his comfort picks, and he's been able to get it twice this series.
I mean, he's been able to get it twice and absolutely blew Black Flag Sailors out of the water in the first game. And again, just trying to do the same thing. Not as easy into the Poppy though, just because Poppy can deny your body slam, but that cask can still be tossed straight on through. And the cask was very good in that game one. So we'll see if he can carry it on over into the game 2, as the vertigan of the game gonna go to the way of Eternal Blizzard and IFX again with objective control.
Yeah, objective control indeed, and you can see the power of that bot lane. While Tempest hanging around trying to see something, but Denza just gonna walk into a charm as Barack Obama was hanging around in that bush. IFX, the focus, will successfully jump away, and the apotheosis from Shikioran catches 3
God.
as Loco gonna land a hook, finishing off the kill onto Noel Tempest. Eternal Blizzard, it looks like a hands diff once again as they are winning out on the team fight. Barack Obama going to find the execution onto Pharaoh. IFX gets the kill credit for that one, and Eternal Blizzard once again win out a team fight on the bot side.
And I'm in awe looking at Eternal Blizzard play because this is so clean. Keep in mind, you can just see Linus walks all the way from the top lane to the bot lane as well. It is all members here, 5 members strong. Shikyor with a great ultimate onto 3. Loco manages to execute with the rocket grab, and Barack Ogama with a great flash at the end. Just redirect the Q here as well, hits it onto Pharaoh, and even with Linus being there, even with the outnumbered members, still Black Flag Sailors cannot put up the fight, and IFX this time is gonna be the one who picks up all the kills. Shiki was in game 1, he picked them all up, but in game 2, he decided to share the love, share some over to his jungler as well, and this time, not gonna be the solo gold owner.
Yeah, not gonna be indeed, but I think kills on Jarvan is a good look for Eternal Blizzard. I think one definite thing is Denzel was able to pick up the kill, but Pharaoh, Loco, do the prediction. Oh, wait, Pharaoh, press your E button, lad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Loco just walks up with the fist instead of the grab and ends up knocking up Pharaoh.
I mean,
really.
to be fair, that is the correct. There wasn't anything wrong with that.
Yeah, it's the correct play out of at least the Loco. It's the correct play from him. I think Pharaoh, like you said, a little bit later on the arcane shift, but you can just see how good this man is on Blitzcrank, because he doesn't immediately go for the hook, which is something you can miss. But that fist, that is a point and click ability right there. You just press E, right click on the enemy champion. Under threat.
Yeah, under threat, but Linus didn't get the stun on the wall, so the gank attempt is gonna fail, and I'm a bit confused with what Black Flag Sailors have been drafting, because Ezreal's a weak side champion, Poppy's a weak side champion, Ryze is a weak side champion, but Viego's an aggressive champion. So, well, Denza gonna get charmed up on the Ryze. Loco gonna land the Herc, and IFX knocking the enemy mid laner up. Denza gonna fall down, and it's looking worse than last game.
And Loco again, so far this man is, I believe, 100% on the accuracy of these hooks. I haven't seen him miss any at least, and you can just see God of Hacks, despite that gank towards the top lane, despite the pressure, it's just the hands. The hands are just better on Hacks than they are on Linus. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's I want to get. Does anyone have a hook count on how many hooks Mopper has hit versus Loco?
I can't tell you. Loco has hit more.
That's a fair assumption, sir.
How many more? I do not know.
Yeah. I mean, Loco's blitz is. Did we just cast a cursor or something? What just happened?
Loco, he's just listening in. We were hyping him too much. He's like, here, I'll give you guys something to watch.
Denzel just missed Q on minions, by the way. Like, I can't even.
See, you see, Loco misses one hook and everyone just starts missing everything. That's the power this man has.
Oh shit, is that what you gotta do to be a two-time SLE champ? I mean, trying to do the same thing.
Just gotta get people's heads. It's all
Yeah,
about the mental game.
what about a mental game?
I have no
Mental game.
explanation.
Oh, there's a hook coming up from Moppo onto Shikioran, but this Nyla is very, very strong. Collector already completed. The cleanser is going to come through. Same with the Apotheosis landing onto 3, and the members of Eternal Blizzard are arriving onto the scene. Denza is just going to use the Realm Warp to his doom. Charm going to land, and Barack Ogama having a stellar game. 1-0 and 7, participated in 8 of the 9 kills. And Shikioran, the 3-man engaged to trade his life to win the fight, coming off big for EB.
And we were making, or we were talking about how many hooks Bobo can hit, and it seems like even though he hits the hook, he just shouldn't. Because he hits the hook on the Shikioran, and Shiki just turns on and says, guess what? You want me to come to you? Fine, I'll come to you, and he hits absolutely everybody.
Absolutely everyone with that massive ultimate. Noir Tempest going to try and contest this objective, but IFX is just way stronger than him right now. But somehow Black Flag Sailors will be able to grab space. Linus going to use the teleport for this. Will give up his top lane turret. So despite then getting a dragon, Eternal Blizzard will be able to get something back in the top side.
Yeah, and I would love to take a look at the top lane right now just to see how much the tower does have health. It is still going to be 2 plates left, so the entire tower not gonna fall just because Hacks Undergrad is not exactly the
Bonk.
fastest person to take towers in this game, but Bonk gonna come through, and those 3 grubs really doing a difference there as well.
Yeah, making a big difference. 3 grubs. But, I mean, right now, the game state is really scary for Black Flag Sailors, because I don't really know... Wait. Okay. I don't really know what they're supposed to do from this point on. They don't really have a strong side to play to. Rise doesn't come online until maybe 2.5 items, and Linus is getting solo killed on weak side by God of Hacks here, as he's going to throw the explosive cask, and Linus being brought to half HP. Poppy's pretty tanky, so won't die, but yeah, I'm just not seeing a way that BFS can play this out, and I might be proven wrong, because Moppo gonna land a hook, but oh, hook check, yeah, I can do it too, says Moppo. Yeah.
And so far, at least 2 or 3 missed hooks on local. He's starting to miss them more the further we are getting into this game. He's losing his edge. I know, he's slowly working his way in. And
Moppo's the best support in SLE.
Can we see some angry reactions in chat? Any Eternal Blizzard supporters here?
I'm joking. Obviously, Loco is the best, though. Not obviously. That's not obvious to everyone. Bit. I rate him as the best. Tune in for the support team list. As Shikioran will try to go for a 1v1 on Pharaoh. And great E, but now his E is down, having to use the flash. Baraka Gama arriving. Didn't get the kill, so not that strong. Loco!
Oh.
Oh.
Starting to miss him, Sovanix. They're starting to go wide.
Yeah. It was unlucky.
It was unlucky. It's okay. We move on.
He's gonna hit this one. Told you so! As Moppo gets hooked behind enemy lines, as Shikioran going to try and do the damage. A hook in return, as Moppo's gonna outplay the 2 bot laners of Eternal Blizzard. Pharaoh gonna jump forward, not quite landing that last Q. A teleport is coming in. That is Barack Ogama. Ultimate isn't ready, but another beautiful hook coming up from Moppo. Will die for it.
It seems like whoever hits the hook just dies, because Loco first hit hook Shiki, ends up dying, then Moppo hits a hook off of that TP, and it's just Barack Ogama who then ends up getting the kill back.
Yep, that is what happened, but IFX now getting stunned up on the wall by Linus. No mana to interrupt that dash, so we'll get to safety. And a bot lane turret destroyed by Barack Ogama, and the game is slipping away from Black Flag Sailors. They will have a power spike coming soon, as you can see Denza already completed that Rod of Ages. He is going to get hooked here, and does have the Lantern to get to safety, so Moppo, great positioning there to go to mid here. But I think for EB, despite being ahead, they have to definitely look out for scaling.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like you said, Rise, he's gonna come online eventually. Poppy, pretty strong in the late game as well, and Viego is one of those champions where if you even get one reset with the Heartbreaker in one of these fights, it's so massive for your team. It definitely can turn these fights around. Mopo gonna walk up pretty aggressively here, a little bit scared.
Oh, yeah, Mopo gonna get caught out here in the mid lane.
Oh
And
my
a hook
God.
going to land on Pharaoh. That's the two-time SLE champion showing his stuff. Did you question my hook matchup against my opponent? Well, there you go, Mr. Pharaoh. But in the end, Mopo is gonna be the one that drops, and EB once again find a free catch in the mid lane.
Yeah, and something I wanted to talk about as well as might have to hold the thought. Linus gonna walk up a little bit aggressively. IFX gonna try to look towards the enemy jungle as well. With an invade coming through, but Nora Tempest hidden in the shadows cannot be seen. And IFX, so one I wanted to bring up because you said, or earlier at least, that it was 8 kill participation on Barack Obama. IFX at the time had 100% kill participation when they were at 9 kills. So this man has been a part of almost every play onset of Eternal Blizzard, and overall, I think IFX having himself one hell of a game so far.
He's really popping off here, and a lot of people question this player coming into the stacked roster. Can he show up? And he definitely is. The yike of the LEC of the SLE, in my opinion, being the rookie and showing his stuff. But Loco just gonna find a hook onto Pharaoh. That's an Ezreal that he just hooked out of nowhere. The flash hook starts the fight off. Double kill already in for Shikiorin. Realm Wolf gonna bring Denza to safety, but not gonna bring anyone else. Triple kill landing in for the Nyla. And once again, it's Loco's Blitzcrank pulling the strings, finding the catch onto Pharaoh. EB go 14 kills at 17 minutes.
He's not pulling strings, he's pulling Black Flag Sailor members.
Yeah,
Denzer
is gonna fall as well. God of Hacks will have to trade his life for it. Shikiorin, that's a cleanse, not a heal, buddy, as he's gonna go down. Shutdown went to Mopo though, so not the best. And the hook gonna miss out. Death Sentence not finding a target, so we'll have to just run away. But EB, I love how aggressive they're playing.
Yeah, it's a great look out of them, and the timing your IFX just steps away. The thumbs up. As I would look at Loco, the flash hook. Pharaoh does not even see it coming. Completely gets blown up. IFX with a great flag and drag flash there to get the knock up in. Shiki with a flash off his own to pick up the kill, and Linus sort of gets left his own devices. Denzer ends up realm warping out of there, so he gets to live. But like you said, Shikiorin ends up killing himself under tower.
Oh my God, it's just so free. What can you do when this guy has a hook champion? It just seems like everyone is getting hooked left, right, and center. And oh gosh, it's like watching artwork. It's like watching a master, painting the most beautiful canvas you've ever seen, because every single hook is finding a target. Noir Tempest, the most recent victim.
Yeah, Loco the Picasso of League of Legends, so to speak, as he's just hitting almost everything right now. And Eternal Blizzard, in my opinion, they look good in game 1, yeah, but they're looking even better in this game too. They're absolutely rocking the boat off of Black Flag Sailors, and Shiki now onto his way to the top lane.
Yeah, it looks like Linus is going to get ganked in the top lane. That's a great keeper's verdict, and Loco's going to be the only one remaining in this fight for now. But Linus isn't that strong. Went for the Eclipse Poppy? Wait.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Why though?
I don't know.
But
Anyway, there's a 1v1 breaking up between the two mid laners. Barakagama choosing to run away as the bot lane of BFS was collapsing in on him. But Eclipse Poppy?
But like, there's no other front line. Like, you got damage. Why though? Why though?
But
I don't get
know.
it.
I'm glad I'm not color cussing this one. You wanna take this?
So it's I'm trying to find any silver lining here, and I think the only reason you would want to build this is because Poppy. So okay, we've seen Lethality Poppy.
Yeah, I'm
right?
hearing you.
We've seen what Lethality Poppy can do on the Rift.
Yeah, gotcha.
Eclipse, a very strong item at the moment.
Understood.
So
Yeah.
Linus is just in his head. He's doing, Linus in his head. He's doing 1+1, and he's getting 4.
I gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, okay.
Like,
That's
he's cooking.
he's cooking, but
He
somehow
might
I
be in
feel
the
like
wrong
the toast is
kitchen.
burnt.
He might be in the wrong kitchen, but he's cooking.
Okay, well, speaking of cooking, Noah Tempest just got himself a fat shutdown onto Barack Ogama, but that opens up Eternal Blizzard to push through the mid lane, and Rumwolf is going to come in. IFX getting hit up by Pharaoh. Oh my god, this guy just doesn't miss a goddamn hook. Denzo is going to get hooked up. The EQs are starting to come through. Shikioran going to get stunned up by the wall. That's the Eclipse, Poppy. They said that's why you build Eclipse on Poppy. God damn, he's a genius. You just didn't understand. As now he's going to put his attention to God of Hacks. Oh my god, it really doesn't do that much damage. God of Hacks going to get taken down, and it looks like Black Flag Sailors have a dog in the fight. They find multiple kills in the mid lane and now put their attention to the Baron.
They put their attention to the Baron, but you know what? I see my man Loco around shopping, and he's not gonna let this one go.
Oh, do it. Don't do it, man. Oh, well, yeah, Loco is hanging around. The hook isn't going to quite find its target, but Baraka Gama and Loco feeling confident to stay here. This Baron is going down so slowly, and look at the health bars of Black Flag Sailors. IFX didn't quite get the steal, enters the pit a little bit too late, flashes too late as well. Noir Tempest finding himself multiple kills off the back end of these plays. He is now sitting 4-4, having a shutdown even on the Viego.
Yeah, Noir Tempest, a great job out of the side of Black Flag Sailors to just find themselves so many of these big shutdowns. And Loco, the only one who's still holding his own, as everyone else has ended up falling. And a great look out of the Sailors, and it all started with this fight in the mid lane, as it just ends up being a engage onto the answer. But guess what? This man's got Archangels. He's Rise. He's so tanky that they just don't have any damage to take him out. Even with Shiki's ultimate, it's just not enough. And you can just see the amount of damage coming out from Linus as he dashes in here and just gets the Q in. Look at that, man. Golduck Eclipse just absolutely off its hinges right there. And this is why you build it. As God of Hacks, just this man might not be taken down by conventional means, but this Eclipse Poppy is exactly what they needed to take out this Quackers.
Yeah, I'm placing my bets. Linus has most damage on the team. 100%.
Oh, for sure.
There's no other way. Yeah, well, Dragon gonna get started up. This could go well for Black Flag Sailors, as they already secured the Dragon, and the Realm Warp was perfectly timed. Denzer getting his whole team out of danger. That was inches away from going badly, and he managed to complete the evacuation. So well played by Black Flag Sailors.
Oh. Denzer is not playing League of Legends. Denzer is playing Arma 3. He just evacuates his entire team out of the situation right there, and just honestly might have saved his team a lot of gold lost, because the side of Eternal Blizzard is still very strong in these 5v5s, and you can just see now with the Baron pushing down this mid lane, but Loco is around, so you gotta be careful of the Blitzcrank. But you can just see God of Hacks in the side lane trying to sort of exert pressure here. As we take a look back at the replay, and like you said, it is a great Dragon here coming out from Black Flag Sailors. But Denzer, keep your eyes on this man, because the Realm Warp is beautifully timed and gets everyone out. IFX just throws up the emote as well, and beautiful work out of Denzer.
Yeah, Denzer, that was fantastic coming out from the Rise, being able to evacuate his entire team out of there, completing the heist. The Rise is actually going for Frozen Heart here, so have some extra durability in these fights. And as the scaling has started to come through, Eternal Blizzard foot off the gas in the last few minutes of the game. Is Black Flag Sailors, they got a Baron and a Dragon off that player. They haven't done anything with the Baron, but, you know, it's looking not too bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, they did get one tier 1 with it, you know, so they're slowly working their way towards these towers, trying to get a tier 1 into the bot lane as well. And I think the side of Eternal Blizzard, they need to be a little bit scared here, because like you said, the scaling is starting to come on through now, trying to work their way towards this mid lane. Noir Tempest gonna be the first one to try to look and try to engage in any of these fights, and the ward not gonna spot him out quite yet.
Yeah, not gonna quite spot him out yet. Keep his verdict onto 1, but it's only IFX, and he didn't get knocked back too far, so we'll just walk a few meters forward and join back his team. It was one of those, like, annoying ultimates, not for much purpose. It was just like, get out of here, and like, hey, that was kind of rude, but yeah, you can see both teams kind of understanding the situation. One more slipped up team fight, and it will turn the swing. So very cautious play from EB and BFS.
And you can just tell, Sovanix, that the second Eternal Blizzard started losing some of these fights, they, like you said, they've took their foot off the gas pedal, and they've sort of calmed it down a little bit. They're like, hey guys, we really can still lose this game. And you're looking on the other side. I'm keeping my eyes on Denzer at this point because this man's level 16, right? He's got 2
Yeah.
items. I'd love to take a look at the gold as well, just to see if he's got enough gold for Frozen Heart. I don't believe quite yet.
No.
But once he does have it picked up, you're looking at very short range. On the side of Eternal Blizzard, Cheeky as the Nyla is gonna be very far in his face. IFX very far in his face. Actually has enough gold to pick up the Frozen Heart as well. So Dancer is gonna be really, really scary and really tanky in these team fights.
Yeah, gonna be super chunky to deal with. But I will say, I think I really like Barack Obama's build path here. Not traditional for the Ahri. I think usually a lot of Ahris like to go Shadow Flame or Storm Surge or whatever second, but I like what he's done here, Liandrews and Crypt Bloom, because there's a lot of HP stacking on the enemy team, and well, I say that Linus went for Eclipse, so maybe not, but you know, champions wise, there should be a lot of HP stacking on the enemy team, and going for this item build meaning that Denza won't have too much resistance for the Ahri, and Barack Obama in a position to do a lot of damage to that Rise when it comes to it.
Yeah, and outside of Mercur's treads, Dancer overall not a lot of magic resist on him, just because of the Frozen Heart giving you a bunch of that armor, so very good against the AD targets on the other side, but not so good to shield yourself up against the Ahri. From the looks of it, IFX potentially in trouble here.
Yeah, IFX getting caught out in his own jungle. Noir Tempest does have backup from 4 members of BFS as Denza choosing to sit around in the mid wave. Does have the Realm Warp available, and it seems like Black Flag Sailors will get priority once again on this objective. Hasn't spawned just yet, coming up in about 30 seconds time, but they are pushing the mid wave, and you have to look out for Loco Fishy.
You always have to look out for Loco. You cannot sleep even for 1 second with this man around. Now both teams are looking. Keep your eyes on the Blitzcrank.
Oh yeah, Moppo has fired his shot now. Loco, your turn. Isn't going to shoot one just yet, but you can see EB managing to get themselves a push on that mid lane wave, meaning they will be able to access this a little bit easier than Black Flag Sailors will. Black Flag Sailors respond to that push quite late. A charm landing onto Denzer as well, but no follow-up. Linus choosing to go in. Eclipse, baby, as God of Hacks will just lose a slither of his HP. A Hook kind of going wide. Keeper's verdict onto God of Hacks. This is your angle to start the fight. Oh, they did that thing again where they just watched the enemy team as Eternal Blizzard will just back off for now. Dragon started up. Pharaoh, he's not going to react in time. He didn't use the flash. He didn't use the arcane shift. Shiki Iron gets the kill credit as Loco finds a flash hook once again onto the enemy Ezreal. And this does mean the Ezreal's not allowed for the Baron. EP, they lose the Drake, but they put their attention to the Nasher.
They're trying to go for the Baron at the moment, and you can see the side of Black Flag Sailors. No, not really. Just in a position to do anything about this. Pharaoh ends up falling, and Loco again. He seems to have Pharaoh on a list somewhere because this man is just hunting for the Ezreal every fight. But Linus walking in now.
Yeah, Linus walking in. That's the value of Eclipse. JK, not really, as Linus is just going to get taken down here. 4 members strong for EB. God of Hacks jumping forward even more aggressively. Look how tanky Denza is. So that is something that they can play with. Denza going to flash away from IFX's knockup. The Cataclysm comes down, and it looks like EB are just running away with the fight. Denza! What the hell was that? I think Shiki Iron hit the blast code, bringing the Rise back into the fight. And there goes the double kill for IFX. No Tempest now left to run. Barack Obama going to claim that one, and the Baron buff is as good as done. As BFS, they entered the fight 1 by 1 and died. 21 kills for EB. Baron Nashor will be secured.
Yeah, should be free pickings now, if never, for the side of Eternal Blizzard. And you can just see Linus ends up walking in first. The Eclipse procs, but guess what? You brought yourself an item that doesn't really do anything. And Denzer just tries to do so much work here. Ends up pushing up as well, but there is just not enough damage. Pharaoh, with him not being in the fight, they just don't have the juice. And granted, great damage onto the team of Eternal Blizzard. You can just see how much AoE this Rise has if he can get himself going. But it's just not enough.
I'm going to be a bit critical to Denzel. I was watching the Rise there. Too many EWs. You gotta EQ those, man. You gotta EQ those. That spreads. That spread. It does. It's missing. The thing about Rise, despite the memes, the EQ memes, that is genuinely what that champion does. And if you're playing around with EWs onto tanks, when you press an E onto a frontline tank, it's gonna spread throughout the entire team, and that one Q could make the difference. But what is making a difference is Eclipse on Linus. It's really not doing anything. What the fuck is that? IFX is just gonna go into killing spree. Explosive cast got to Mopper, bringing him to the entire enemy team. Shikioran goes onto a killing spree. EB with one potential last push down the enemy base.
Yeah, EB trying to look for the inhibitor tower, now keeping my Baron in their pockets as well. Picked it up earlier on. Pharaoh just trying to land as much poke as he can. Mystic shots are starting to land, but he just does not do enough damage here, as you can see now with their eyes towards his bot lane. This wave is perfect on side of Eternal Blizzard and trying to look for, I think, an engage here.
Yeah, they could be. Denza. Oh, IFX aspect of Dutch there because the EQ flash didn't quite land. Oh gosh. It happens. He's had a beautiful game. A small hiccup at the end as EB will now barrel down the mid lane turrets. There are members spawning 4 Black Flag Sailors, but there's the Eclipse. Poppy, what can you do? One shot Barakagama. No, you can't. Shikioran now jumping through the entire team. Linus is going to get pulled in by the Apotheosis, and it looks like the Nexus is going to get taken down. EB complete the 2-0.
And Eternal Blizzard with these 2 wins are going to move to an 8-2 position, and what a strong look they're gonna have heading into next week. This is, like I said earlier, going to be the team to beat. And like you said it yourself, IFX a couple of mistakes there towards the end of the game, just the flash a little bit too far forward. I found it really funny. They just get into Cataclysm, it doesn't hit, and they just press his S. He just does not play emote. He just knows that he screwed up, but it doesn't matter because guess what? You're already at the enemy nexus. So IFX, he did the work he needed to, and now he can just relax.
Can just relax indeed, as well, it does look like EB are gonna be your household team to beat. They take down the top team of the SLE, and I have to say, in extremely dominant fashion. But I think part of me is kind of scratching my head here. I don't think Black Flag Sailors were at the races today. This wasn't their best at all. For example, Pharaoh getting hooks there at the Dragon. It was all cool, Mr. Loco, but at the end of the day, you're getting hooked as an Ezreal when you have an arcane shift where even if you do get hooked, even if you're an old man and you react late, it still buffers anyway. You're still safe, right? And it just comes to the case, you just didn't press the button. Ezreal into Blitz is notoriously difficult for Blitz because you either have to predict him or just have your hook, watch your hook land but not go anywhere because he uses the E. But that last fight there, you have Flash and Arcane Shift. Getting hooked by Blitzcrank there is borderline criminal. So, yeah, I think, props to EBs, don't get me wrong. Oh, we have a replay.
Oh.
I wasn't aware of this.
Hang on, we're cooking.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh no, Pepper, that's toxic. Oh.
After the game this man had as well. Not like this.
Oh. To be honest, he had such a good game. I can understand why people would be like, you're scripting. So he had to make that play just to make sure that everyone knew that he wasn't actually scripting.
And yeah, it would be a real shame if, he got banned at this point for scripting just because he's too good.
Yeah, real shame, huh?
Yeah, really unfortunate. Anyways. Overall, if you look at the Black Sailor, we've seen so much better. I feel like just was not their week. But I think one member that, despite the team not playing well, Benzer, those realm warps after they got those dragons, they were so clean.
Yeah,
so I think if we were handing out honorable mention awards for me, I think it'd have to go to Denzer because I feel like he was definitely just trying to hold the ship together, but with too many holes, the ship just ends up sinking.
Yeah, cool story, bro. I'm gonna give my a shout out to the Eclipse Poppy. I predicted he would do the most damage in the game. Pepper, can you check for me? What was the stat check? I'll wait for that. But yeah, Eclipse Poppy looks so broken, one-shotting everyone. You know what? Let's just move on quickly from that. I got nothing else to say. Who is your MVP of the series?
I I really wanna say Loco just because of that Blitzcrank, but I think just it's really hard to say because I think overall the side of Eternal Blizzard as a team, everyone put in a performance in the half. And Loco in that second game, IFX as well in that second game, just so clean out of the both of them. And I think if I had to give it up to somebody, I would say it's a 50-50 split between IFX and Loco because I think they both played wonderfully tonight, and I really can't decide between the two. But who would you give your MVP to?
So I am gonna give it to IFX because Loco, it was such a fucking insane performance from him in both games. But it's kind of like, we're used to it right now. We get it. Loco's just the best, like, hook champion, hook support in the SLE. We understand. We get the drill. Whereas for IFX, I've seen in Discords, he has come under some heat of being, an underperformer within the ZB roster, which I actually think is unwarranted. He's had some fantastic games. I saw Jonathan Isaac, even though he won an Ivan, call him the worst Ivan he's ever seen. Which is such a far-fetched comment. I can't believe someone just goes in Discord and says that to another person. But IFX has come under some heat for not potentially being as good as the rest of the team. What this series showed was that he is here to compete. He's not just here to get carried by his team. He's here to take part as well. So I think just off the back of that, it was a statement game. It was him showing to the entire SLE, I'm not the one to get carried here. I'm the one to make plays, facilitate my bot lane getting ahead, get a high level of kill participation. Yes, I maybe imitate Dutch at the end there, missing the EQ flash, but I'm here to play. I'm here to be one of the best strugglers, and he did it against one of the best teams. So I think from this point moving forward, people need to start putting some respect in his name, and he's going to be my MVP of the series.
I mean, I think that's definitely fair enough. One hell of a game from the boys. And I think when you've got your team to the point where you're knocking at their doors, you're trying to be the salesman to sell them the victory, I think it's gonna be that's your moment to miss any EQs. So I think it's completely warranted that he, did a little bit of an oopsie. And look at it this way, rather at the enemy nexus than to do it earlier in the game and have them at your nexus.
True. Good point. But yes, well, that is the 2-0. This is a replay, so I'm assuming no. Oh yeah, you mentioned yesterday no post-game interviews until 5.
Unfortunately.
Oh, spoilers. Wait, was I supposed to say that? Who cares? It's SLE. This isn't some sponsored tournament. Anyway, so we will conclude the stream 2-0 from EB. Congratulations on toppling down the first place team. For now, Dasa, it was a pleasure to cast with you again. 2 days in a row casting with Dasa. What a treat. And Pepper as well, hosting the stream. So thank you so much. Congrats to EB. Commiserations to Black Flag Sailors. And I'm excited to see future games of the SLE.
For sure, and it's gonna be a good time.